your source for all things Everton. I am Connor Williams, and we're back with another one of our 24/7 news report videos. The headline news for this evening is that Chelsea owner Todd Boehly will meet Chelsea forward Armando Broja to discuss his future. Everton have made an offer of £30 million. Broja is a top target for Frank Lampard, who is also keen to sign Conor Gallagher. This has come by the Evening Standard. Not a massive surprise, is it really? We knew Gallagher, Lampard is a big fan of. I don't think Lampard's the only fan of Gallagher. But that one's not the big one, is it really? Because until we make a bid, until anything happens, that's just speculation. Lampard just fancies him. Broja, though, 30 million. An official offer has been made. Boehly will have to convince Broja, if he's going to stay, that he'll get first team football. Otherwise, Broja wants to go. It's interesting, isn't it? I'd love to know a wider census, which I'm sure the comment section will let me know, and I look forward to reading it on Broja. I've seen a few mention on Twitter, and it's very hit and miss there as well. And my feelings of him is that he's a young striker, that started the league off sort of very well, and then I think it's fair to say fell at the wayside a little bit, dropped off, but then so did that entire Southampton team, realistically. So it's an interesting one. I don't know if this was a little bit cheaper. I would be saying go for it, go for it, go for it. I think there is a player in there, without a shadow of a doubt, and he's young and he's going to develop. It depends what Lampard and the club want. 30 million for a 20-year-old that last season in the Premier League scored 9 goals in 38 appearances isn't, for me, a plausible amount of money to spend. And it's worth pointing out the last time he scored a goal for Southampton, even though he played quite a lot of minutes for them, was back against Tottenham Hotspur. He scored on the 9th of February, which is, towards the end of the season, that's quite a dry spell for a striker. He played of 1,975 minutes as well, so people can't say that he wasn't getting game time. Just so you don't have to try and work it out through the dates, because the way the fixtures have been this year, that's quite a long time ago. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he hadn't scored in 13 games after that Spurs game, which is, Southampton also fell away a bit as well. But yeah, he'd had a great start to the season, getting a couple of goals here and there. But then, like I said, fell away, but he wasn't exactly prolific. He wasn't lighting it up every game. The goals were coming a couple of weeks he wasn't scoring, a couple of weeks he was. He's young, he's 20 years old, so he's got a lot of potential. He's not a fully developed player yet. There's plenty of time to sort of grow into those shooting boots that we're hoping for, which is why I like the look of him, and I like the style of player he is. The only negative I have is that 30 million is a lot of money for a player of that goal-scoring record. He is only going to play back up to Dominic Calvert-Lewin unless we play 2 up top, which if Boehly's going to try and persuade him about his future at Chelsea and try and offer him more game time, then maybe he'll stay there, because unless we play 2 up top, I can't see him taking Calvert-Lewin out if Calvert-Lewin stays, which we will get to right now. Look at that segue. Yeah, we had breaking news. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a target for Newcastle United. They have been told they would need to pay £60 million, but we'll try to negotiate. However, the £60 million fee is not expected to put them off. That's come via Tom Hopkinson, who writes for the chief sports reporter for the Sunday Mirror and the Sunday People. Yeah, I mean, we knew we would lose one of the two. Now it looks like maybe we might lose 2 of the 2. If they paid 60 million, I think that is an incredible amount of money for Dom. I really like him. Had a tough season with injuries last season. I think this season we'll see a lot of the Dominic Calvert-Lewin of old. That being said, 60 million, I'd be tempted. That's a lot of money, especially if you're in our current situation. That is a lot of money. So if the club accepted it, I could see where they're coming from in terms of that. And that gives you, a lot more money to reinvest in a striker, because we'd have to go for two then. We'd probably try and get Belotti, Dennis, and Broja maybe. I couldn't tell you who, just to be honest. I'm making that up like the papers do. They're just the common names I've seen the last couple of days. But we'd have to find a replacement for Richarlison, which is apparently Emmanuel Dennis, and one for Dominic Calvert-Lewin now. And if we were to sell him, leading on to Broja, and my criticism of Broja, we sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin and just buy Broja, I think we're in a lot of trouble. I don't think he's got the goal tally that Calvert-Lewin has in him. Calvert-Lewin's a bit more experienced, a bit more mature. I think it's really dangerous to then expect a 20-year-old to come up with the goals of not just him, but potentially Richarlison, which is the other worry. I wouldn't sell Dom, really, unless I had to. Like I said, he had a tough season last season, but I think we'll see the Dominic Calvert-Lewin of old now he's recovered. You take his goals out of this team and Richarlison's, and last season we'd have gone down. This season, we'll be in real trouble. We'll be right back where we didn't want to be, right back following this season in a dogfight that we don't really want to be in. It's a worrying time if we let both of them go. I think the club have put 60 million as a sort of back off. Lampard told Calvert-Lewin that he wanted to build a team around him. I think Calvert-Lewin is probably right now being told by Frank Lampard and his team that, and his team of managers and assistants and coaches, you are the main piece to our puzzle. Also, it's Newcastle. I mean, he could go for the wages because Newcastle have got abundance of money and can offer him silly wages. But in terms of a competitiveness, I would wait, have another good kick on, have a good season with us, and see what other opportunities appear next season. There could be a move to a better club than Newcastle United. I don't think they're going to be challenging for Europe this season. So he could just wait and get a team that's potentially challenging for Europe if he pushes on. You never know. We could be one of those teams. You just never know. But yeah, if I was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I personally would wait a year and see what my options are after hopefully a good year with us. But we'll have to wait and see what Dominic Calvert-Lewin wants. Obviously, Newcastle would be attractive mainly for the money, and I guess you could argue because of the money, aspirations and ambition. But if there's any Newcastle fans watching, believe me, having a ton of money and a dream doesn't always mean you get the results. 500 million and we very much skate at just about avoided relegation. It's not how much money you have, it's what you do with it. We also have that Everton are interested in Wolves midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White and are expected to make an offer. Wolves value him at 25 million, but haven't decided if he will be allowed to leave. Nottingham Forest are also interested. That's come via Sky Sports and more specifically, Shet, Domish Shet from, I'm going to pronounce that as, apologies if that's wrong, of Sky Sports. I like Gibbs-White. He's done very well in the Championship this season. 25 million. It looks like Lampard does need a creative midfielder, doesn't he? And really want one. It'd be interesting to see if Wolves let him go. Thelwell, I believe I read yesterday, helped promote Gibbs-White through Wolves' academy. So he's very, very keen on Gibbs-White. Whether this materialises, I don't know. Wolves might decide to keep him. In all honesty, he's a very highly rated midfielder and has been for a while. And like I said, had a really good loan spell, so he is going to be a bit of hot property. And he could be a player that Wolves need as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think 25 million's it's hard in this day and age not to think everyone's slightly overpriced. But I don't think that's a massively unfair one. I mean, it is somewhat expensive, but it's not awful. It's not, 60 million, for example. So we'll have to wait and see what the club do there. We also have that Moise Kean and PSG are in discussion, and he wants to return to PSG, who have, as of recording, about 2 hours ago, announced that Christophe Gaultier If you don't know him, he was linked with the semi-linked with the Everton job last summer, but had agreed a principal with Nice. He spent a season at Nice. He's done all right at Nice. Normally does better in his second season. He's done all right at Nice and got the PSG job already. Very interesting to see how that goes. But I think it's a good appointment from PSG. He was he won the league with Lille. So PSG are going, you know what? He beat us last 2 seasons ago. Let's just go get him. He's probably the only manager in this league near enough competing with us. Let's just go get the competition. But anyway, so he's gone to PSG. Moise Kean is now interested in returning to PSG. Apparently Neymar's off as well. This has come from Romain Colette Goudin, who's a journalist sportif, so sports journalist for Eurosport France. In terms of an Everton point of view, other than the obvious Gaultier links, I believe the Juventus have to pay us regardless, is my understanding. So this will be Juventus quickly selling him on. He's going to get very quickly passed over and sold. Reminds me a bit of, is it Jovic last season, who had a loan with an obligation to buy. Then Frankfurt bought him and then sold him on to Real Madrid, I believe, for a profit. I believe that was what happened. So it's very much similar to this. Interesting to see how much PSG splash on him. It has been his best time in his career, I'd say, at PSG. So, either way, all that matters for us as a hyperbole situation is that we get money for him, and we will be, so happy days. We also have that Dennis wants to stay in the Premier League, and Everton are interested in the player. Watford have a price tag of 20 million. That came from Adam Leventhal of the Athletic UK. Dennis hasn't gone on the pre-season tour with Watford to Austria as well, so it looks like Watford are fully expecting him to go. This is what I meant about Gibbs-White. 25 is not bad. Dennis seems a bit of a steal at 20. I do really like this. His stats last season were, compared to Richarlison's, were slightly better, if not similar. And if you follow Luorns on Twitter at LOUORNS, he is a Watford fan, but he's a very big stats man. So if you like your stats, go follow him. He's been covering Everton a little bit while Watford have been a bit quiet. He did Bakawa and he also did Dennis, because obviously this is a sale that he'll want as well because it's money for Watford. And he raves about Dennis. He thinks he's actually really good. He did an article on it, so go check that out. It's someone who watches Dennis every week. So, go check that out. But from what I read from it, Dennis does look really good. 20 million is a bit of a steal. Why not? We've spent more money on lesser players, is my attitude for that. And he's a player we need. We also have some news over the Takeover drama saga. Farhad Moshiri could be willing to sell 30% of his stake at Everton in an effort to fund the development of Bramley Moor Dock. He could be willing to see the current board remain with potentially the addition of a representative of any new investor. That's from the Athletic. So basically, he wants to sell 30% of his stake, still stay in charge, have his in order to fund the stadium, which is a bit worrying. I mean, half of it's up now anyway, so I don't know what happens if he can't fund it. In all honesty, but yeah, 30% of his stake up to help fund that. Doesn't want to change any of the board. But everyone has their opinions on it, but doesn't want to change any of the board, including himself. So everything will stay the same up at the top. And a lot of people have been calling the top out for over a year now. And especially now that we've had to sell one of our best assets due to poor investment and running of this football club. So they will remain at the top. I'm sure everyone's got their opinion on that. And is willing to potentially add one extra person in the boardroom. So one more chef to spoil the broth there. Personally, I think going to be interesting, isn't it? I think he's being a little bit too picky for my liking. I think investors will either want to buy fully or not at all. Obviously, when there were the links with Usmanov and all the rumours regarding that, that was the more and more likely that seems that was maybe where the money was coming from a little bit. I don't think he's going to find somebody that wants to buy 30% of his share and not a full takeover. Speaking of full takeovers, we do have the statement from Cam Sport LLC, the Kaminsky sort of consortium, which was led with Kenyan and stuff like that. It says, as a general principle, we prefer to conduct our business in private to create the fairest environment for those involved. And in this particular situation, to minimise uncertainty from fans of Everton, it is regrettable that this has not been possible. We remain interested in acquiring the club, as we believe its fans deserve nothing less than the best. Getting in the club motto there, very clever. And our offer to achieve this stands. However, in consideration of all Everton fans, we will not be making any further public comments at this time from the Cam Sports LLC. I mean, that's interesting. I'm not too keen on this American consortium for a number of reasons, and I've said it in the chat. And going away from that sort of stuff, of the reasons I've said 2 weeks ago, the other reason is there's something about them that seems a bit iffy. A lot of journalists were saying it's very unprecedented that potential takeovers, that one party, and it's the party that are looking to buy, had gone to the press so much and made press statements. It's almost like Pereira interviewing for his job on Sky-esque feel about it. So it's very, very odd they were doing that in the first place. But now they've come out with a comment saying that they generally do it in their business in private. So I don't know why they haven't now. I think the whole nothing but the best I don't think that's an accident that they put that in. I think that's probably on purpose to appease us. As is the last statement about it's not fair on us. I think that's to appease us as well. These guys, I don't know what it is. I know their website looked a bit but maybe they've just got a bad website developer. But there is something other than who they're linked with, what they're linked with as people. There is something else iffy about them that I just can't figure out. And it is a bit of part of this statement is added to that sort of worry. I know, a lot of us aren't exactly fans of the current establishment at Everton. But I do worry better the devil you know than the devil you don't might come across here. These aren't the only ones rumoured to be interested, so keep an eye on that space. But they're not going away by the looks of it, but they are going to stop going to the press every 2 minutes. So it looks like from now, Everton fans, they were probably the most communication we've had in years. But it looks like we're about to go radio silence again and let the rumours burn wild, which I'm sure will make for entertainment on social media. That is all I've got time for today. Don't forget to, I just want to say as well before we leave, you can check out the store in the comments down in the description down below. We've got loads of good merch in there, loads of t-shirts, mugs, that type of thing. And we have the new home kit. You can buy it via the link in our description as well. So if you haven't got it already, go get it. I've seen loads of pictures of people wearing it on social media. I personally genuinely do like the kit. I think obviously you're stuck in terms of creative freedom with a home kit because it's got to have some of the fundamentals that can't change. I actually really like the kit. I'm a fan of it. The pictures have looked great. If you want to put your picture up on Twitter or whatever and you want the kit to do that, go get it from the link down below. Don't forget to like the video as well. I'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And comment down below your thoughts on any of the stuff I've discussed. Would you take Broja? Are you a little bit worried about him, the Calvert-Lewin situation? Do you think he'll make up for the goals we'll lose? Your thoughts on this takeover. It's an absolute drama. Nothing is simple with Everton Football Club, is it? It's the drama that pulls you in, I think. It's never dull, never dull. But don't forget, guys, to do all those great things. And I'll see you very soon.